Hey, boys and girls, happy Monday. Today we are going to be working on classifying triangles. So I'm going to be showing you the reference sheet that you will have. You should print it out if you have a printer. If you don't have a printer, just save it to your drive so you have a reference of what the different vocabulary is, as well as how to write and read the different, in this case today, triangles. Like I said on Friday, this chapter is very much new vocabulary. So it's important that you study the vocabulary and learn it. Okay. All right. So let's see. So we're classifying triangles. A triangle is a polygon with three sides and three angles. And you can name a triangle by the vertices of its angle. So what we're going to do is, so a triangle, tri means three. Tricycle has three wheels. Tripod has three legs like a camera. I'm sure think of plenty of others, but a triangle has three sides with three angles. So you can take a look here. So we have over here, we have, so this is one side, two sides, three sides, and then over here is an angle, right? Because these two sides or these two rays are connecting to make this angle over here. We have another angle here, and then we have an angle over here. Now, the possible names for this triangle, you can name it, and if you look, it's tiny, but those are triangle symbols. So how you would write it would be a triangle, and then you could name it triangle S-U-T. You could name it triangle S-T-U. You can name it triangle TSU or TUS or triangle TS or triangle UST. So it doesn't really matter which order it is for when you're labeling a triangle. There are three different kinds of ways three different classifications for the triangle by angles. So an acute triangle, so you have to think back, put my picture back up for you guys. So you have to think back for acute, right? It's a tiny, cute little angle. So it's less than 90 degrees or less than a right angle. So an acute triangle has all of those angles are acute angles. So three acute angles would be an acute triangle. So here's an example of one. So like if you look at that angle, and you can turn your heads and I would even have little Post-its for yourself, and we'll practice that too, how to like look at the angles. But so this isn't a tiny acute angle. This one here is an acute angle, and this one's an acute angle. If all three angles are acute, less than 90 degrees, smaller than a right angle, then you have an acute triangle. An obtuse triangle is a triangle with one obtuse angle. So the other two angles are going to be acute. So if you look here, this one here is acute. This one here is obtuse. It's bigger than a right angle. And you can do it with, let me see if I can, you guys could probably add two. I know in the other one you can add shapes. Let me see if I can add a shape in here. Insert. Let's see. I thought you could there were shapes. I know in the slideshow there are shapes. So you guys could always insert a square and like put it right up to it and see if it's directly lined up with it, it's a right angle. If it's further out to the side, it's a obtuse. And if you can't see the angle at all, that line, then it's an acute. But if you look here, this one is bigger than a right angle. A right angle would have been like straight up here and there. And right angles are easy to tell because look here, they put a square in there for you. So it's a little easier to tell. So back to obtuse though. So this angle is obtuse. So that makes this entire triangle an obtuse triangle. When one angle is obtuse, that whole triangle is obtuse then. And then a right triangle is, you guessed it, one right angle. So here is our right angle. Automatically, it's a right triangle. Okay? That is it for those. I'm going to do some on the board where we're naming them. Let's take a look. Okay. So I have my triangle here. And like I said, there are many different ways that you could like name it. But so when you're writing it, you would do triangle, make a little triangle. And then you can label it ZY X. You can name it X, Y, Z. You can name it Z, X, Y. Doesn't matter. I'm just going to name it X, Y, Z. So this is triangle X, Y, Z. Okay? Now, we're going to try to figure out what kind of triangle this is. And by doing that, we want to look at each of the angles to see if it's acute, obtuse, or right. Now, normally they would have a little square in there to show you that it's a right triangle. I don't see any there, so I'm assuming it's not, but you always want to double check. So I'm going to get one of my Post-its. Now, I have these tiny ones. You could have a regular piece of Post-it, or you could have a piece of paper. It doesn't really matter. Actually, I have a regular Post-it too here. Maybe I'll use that. Okay, regular Post-it. Okay, so I'm going to first look at my X. So if I put a Post-it, it should make a square. This is not making a square. If it was a right triangle, this side here would be up like that if it was a right angle. This is inside of it, so that is an acute. So I'm going to say this is acute. Remember, acute, tiny angle. Okay? I'm going to look at Y. So if I put a piece of paper, now you don't have to, you want to just have it so that you could see both angles. So I see this side here. And if I went straight up, it would be a right angle. It's coming out to the side. So that's telling me that it's more than a right angle. This is an obtuse angle. Okay. And then my last one, my Z, I can turn it to see maybe, you always want to have the edge on with one of the sides. So I'm going to put it like this. And I could see here it's lined up. And if it was going up like this, it would be a right angle. And if it was further out to the side, it'd be obtuse. But it is inside behind my Post-it. So it is another acute angle. Okay, so what kind of triangle is this? So we remember, and if you write it down, an acute angle or acute triangle has all three of its angles are acute. A right triangle, one angle has to be right. We don't have any right. And an obtuse one angle has to be obtuse. Since we have one angle that's obtuse, this triangle is an obtuse triangle. Okay? And that's how you classify triangles. Let's try 3 more together. Okay, so I have 3 more triangles here. Now, with my handy Post-it, I can look, okay? Well, it already gives me a square, so it kind of gives the answer right away that this is a right angle. So a right triangle has to have one right angle. So this one is easy. Right triangles are easy, I feel like. So this one is a right triangle. I'm not going to write triangle for each one, but so it's a right triangle, okay? Now, I have the other 2 angles. If you look, you put your Post-it. You always want to have one edge on with this with a side, and see how this one goes inside. So this is an acute angle. So we have one acute angle, we have one right angle, and then let's check this one. I'm going to put a side to the edge, and this one goes inside still too. So we have 2 acute angles, 1 right angle, and as long as it's 1 right angle, it's a right triangle. Okay? This one here, let's take a look. So I'm going to have an edge on one of the sides. If it was going straight up, it would be a right. If it was going out further, it would be an acute. But because it's inside here, it's an acute. So we have 1 acute angle there. Here, I'm lining up one here. If it was going straight out, it would be a right. And if it was going further out, it'd be obtuse. But it is inside, so it's another acute. So there's 2 acute angles. We got to check this last one to decide what kind of angle, okay, or what kind of triangle. So now I'm going to put a line against here, and it's inside again. So 3 acute angles means it's an acute triangle. And then my last one, I'm going to put my Post-it against one of the sides. It does not go out here. It does not go out here. It's acute. So we have one acute angle. Let's see here. I'm looking on this angle over here, lined up. If it was going straight down, it's right. Obtuse would be out here. It's in here. So it's another acute. So we have now two acute angles. And then let's look at our last one. I'm going to put this against here. Oh, look, this one goes out further. So that is an obtuse. So we have one obtuse. So we have two acute, one obtuse. So this is an obtuse triangle. I was going to say angle. All right. I'm going to look at the page with you for what you guys need to do, and then you guys can head on to it. Okay, so I'm just going to walk you guys through how to do this slide today. So if you look on the bottom, and I don't think a lot of people notice, there are directions for each slide. So this first slide is definitions. You're just going to, it says, I can't see it to the side right now, but like probably move the pieces to the top of the yellow dash boxes. So like, okay, a triangle with one right angle. Is it an obtuse triangle, an acute triangle, or a right triangle? Use that reference sheet. It will help you tremendously. Print it out. Have it on your with all your stuff. Okay, so you're gonna move the triangle types to the definitions. The next one is so you're going to. It says place a circle around each angle of the triangle. Red would be an obtuse, blue would be an acute, and green would be a right. So these move. You can move them. I don't know why it's not letting me move right now. Okay, so they move. You're going to move those and drag them. So if you think that this is an obtuse angle, you would move the red right over it. Okay, and then you're going to name the number of obtuse angles, just like I did here on this last one. Number of obtuse angles, the number of acute, and the number of right, and then you're going to tell me what type of triangle it is. So these move. Okay, these boxes move to there. Okay, here you would just type in 1, 2, or 3. Okay, the same thing for the next slide. And then the last slide, you're moving this red circle, it moves, over whichever one you think is, whoops, you could make them smaller or bigger, stretch them out. So you're going to move that over whichever kind of triangle you think it is, acute, obtuse, or right. Don't forget to read over that reference sheet. Have it out with you. Take notes if you need. All right. I will see you guys in a little while. See you later.